Hey guys, welcome back. So today is going to be a big planting day. I'm planting out some more cold weather crops. This is the broccoli and cabbage I started roughly, I think 4 weeks ago now. And then I was at Lowe's earlier today and I just grabbed some pansies that they had so I could refill these little hanging baskets I have for the chicken coop. So I'm going to get all that planted. Then I also have a bunch of seeds here. I'm so excited about this fairy meadow flower mix. I'm going to plant it here in the front. And then I also have these hoops right here. So these are hoops that I bended last year and I ended up not getting around to using them. So I'm really excited to finally have them up correctly. And that's where I'm going to be planting out most of my broccoli. I think I'm going to prioritize broccoli over the cabbage because I'm growing the cabbage mostly for the chickens. Even though I like cabbage, I'm not really like the biggest cabbage person. I'm also going to sprinkle some chamomile in like the whole like wildflower area. If I have room, I'm going to do some kohlrabi, some beets. I am going to plant out some spinach today, also some kale. I'm going to throw some calendula in there as well. I started calendula last week or the week before when I did some seeds, but I also just wanted to sprinkle some out to see the difference. Oh, and then I have these California poppies I'm also going to sprinkle in. So I'm really excited to just have like a little like wildflower area as well. I haven't done like a mix of like wildflowers since I think my second year gardening, and it's just like a cute little thing to add. And this is a space over here that hasn't really got used to the priority. So I really wanted to focus this space on like all of my cool weather crops and greens because this area right here does have some tree coverage and it will shade out, but I think that will work to my advantage. So the problem I've experienced with growing a lot of cool weather crops here in Kansas is a lot of times our springs will get warm really fast, and sometimes we also have really rainy springs and it's kind of just a toss-up. But sometimes, like last spring, we had an amazing spring season and it really worked to my advantage even though summer was really hot. So you just never know what you're going to work with. But I've always had really good luck with cabbage, and I'm really excited about this broccoli variety because it's a hybrid variety from Johnny's. I'm really excited to try a lot more hybrids this year just to see the production level difference, especially just because since I am in a smaller like backyard setting and I am trying to grow for production, I think hybrids will really work to my advantage. So I'm really excited about playing around with some of that as well. All right, so I've been soil blocking for a few years now, and honestly I really like it for that 4 to 6 week window with plants. You'll see I'll be doing a bunch of flowers next week, and I'll be starting everything in soil blocks. I think it really just helps the whole planting process. You're not disturbing any roots. I literally just dug a hole real fast with my dibber and now covered it and I'm done. It makes everything really quick. I'm not having to clean any extra pots either. And again, your roots aren't getting bound up or anything because they're not in a plastic pot. Do you think containers have a purpose? I use containers all the time, but for these quick crops, I really think soil blocking is the way to go. I have 10 broccoli planted right here. I'm gonna get these planted, I'm gonna mulch it, and then I'm gonna water everything in really well, and then we'll keep moving down the path. If you're new to gardening, it is really important to mulch. This was something I did not prioritize for my first few years, especially if you live in a windy environment like I do. This will help retain that moisture in the soil. That's really important when your seedlings are still really young and they don't have established roots yet. So from here, I'm gonna mark out like my walkway. I'm gonna mark off where I'm going to plant all my wildflowers, and I'm gonna see if I have any other extra room over here really. To be honest, this was an area that I didn't plan too well. I just kind of knew what was gonna be over here. I think I will be able to do one more row of something because I won't have to access the row from that end because that's just gonna be all wildflowers. In this spacing here, I'm going to plant some spinach, kohlrabi, and kale. You can plant quite a few of these in an area. So I am going to just direct sow a few seeds of spinach every 6 inches. I'll probably do like 6 of these. is every 8. And I'll probably plant like 4. Give it to the chickens quite a bit. I'm not the biggest kale person, to be honest. All right. And lastly, we're going to do kohlrabi, which is something I have only ever found at one grocery store, but I've planted it a few times and it's really fun. It kind of looks alien-like. Another thing I would like to do is build like a fencing area for the chickens. I'm actually considering like clipping their wings and giving them like an extra run space. They're starting to get really bored. They've done really well, but I think winter they just got really bored. But I really do want to build like a little fence area in this little portion that I can't really garden in because there are so many trees that cast shade in this back corner that I've never even attempted to grow anything over there. Alright, so now here comes the fun part. I'm literally just going to sprinkle these seeds in the rest of this portion here. This is pretty easy. I'm excited about these poppies. Scatter about 20 seeds per square foot and rake in. With the seedling mix, I am only sprinkling the mulch on. It doesn't need to be heavy. A lot of these seeds are really shallow or need shallow to pop up, so this is mostly to deter birds. So when it comes to the pansies, I'm just going to use some potting soil, and these are literally cheap hanging baskets I bought pansies with last year, and I had white pansies, so I'm literally just doing the exact same thing that was in here last year. I think the hanging baskets just added a cute little ambiance to the chicken coop, which I plan to put 3 per, which I think that should work pretty good. Yeah. Oh, it feels so good to look at flowers. So pansies can tolerate some really, really, really cold temps. For any reason we have anything crazy go on, I will cover those cold crops, and I'll probably just bring these hanging baskets inside. You know, I don't want to jinx it, but we are still going to have some frost, but we are pretty warm for the next like 10 to 12 days. And our last expectant again is in like 3-ish weeks. So I don't think we'll have any like deep cold freezes like we had last week. I ended up having a low of like 17 that day I was worried about with the onions, and I'll show you guys once I'm done with this. The onions did have just a itty slight bit of damage, but they're pulling through. I pulled one out to see if it ended up like getting cold damage in the bulb, and it didn't. That 2 inches of mulch that I laid really, really helped. It was kind of just the ends and some of the edges of where the frost cover was that ended up getting a little bit of frost damage, but I believe majority of them are going to make it through just fine. All right, so these onions, we did get that low of 17 that I did tell you guys about. So onions can tolerate a low up to 20, but really nothing for 4 to 6 hours from all the stuff that I read. And yeah, we were pretty low for some time. So I put up some frost fabric and all of that. And when I pulled back the frost fabric, again, there was some damage. And I'm gonna show you guys some up close, like little views of some of the damage, but everything is growing back. I have new growth, the stems look thicker, everything's looking really good, but that did probably stunt their growth maybe by like a week or so, but overall they're still looking good, so I'm happy about that. Alrighty, here's a good example. You see how that top completely died back, but everything down here looks good. We also had another leaf down here completely die back, but again, we have new growth. Everything's looking really good and strong. Here's another example. That leaf completely died back, and there's a little bit on the tip, but overall we are still growing really, really good. All the onions, and then here's all the garlic. All the garlic looks just absolutely great. You can tell that they got just probably the smallest amount of damage as well, but nothing crazy. So it's always a good thing to make sure you are weeding, but it is also really important when it comes to your onions and your garlic. Your garlic is a really shallow bulb, and anything that's fighting that little growth area, they don't like. And then onions, they also have a really shallow root system. So anything that's blocking their root system, they tend to not like. So you really got to keep up on your weeding. The last thing I want to accomplish today is my strawberry bed. This was something I neglected to do in the fall, and before any more green new growth really gets going, I need to prune back all of this dead and get it out. That way I can help prevent like any type of fungal diseases, and there's just a lot of dead. No, 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 you stay there. I see you, grub. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, to the chickens you go. Pest management at its finest. You go. Alright, so I had to clear everything out, including the mulch, because I couldn't see where the strawberries were living. So with raised beds, you're wanting to do about like 10 inches per plant, so there's quite a few that I probably need to remove and also replant in certain areas. So these are second year strawberries, and yeah, I don't really know, but either way, so these little strawberry rocks I made last year to help deter birds and squirrels, and this was probably like my first viral video. I got so much hate saying I was gonna kill birds and squirrels from them pecking at the rocks and like breaking their beaks, and squirrels eating the rocks and all sorts of stuff. Well, either way, guys, these rocks did absolutely nothing. They got hidden by the foliage within like a few weeks, and they didn't care. They still ate my strawberries. So I'm actually in the works of planning a cover for this space. My husband and I are planning on building like a nice like cover that I can lift up and grab out of, because the strawberries are a hot commodity when it comes to there's another one. I'm going to kind of pull out apart some plants, repot them in some areas, and then I'm going to get this remulched and then watered. This soil is actually kind of dry. I'm getting so many good runners right now. I'm definitely going to have way too many. Pretty good example of not a good runner. There's like one little shoot of a root. Okay, so I only have a few spots I can replant some strawberries, so I'm gonna pick the best like runner plants. This one is really good here. This is one reason why I really can't wait to have land one day. I physically just don't have all the room I would need to plant all the strawberries I would want, unfortunately. So I think a lot of these plants will end up just going bye-bye. Ooh, that's a really good one too. Man, it feels so good to accomplish everything I accomplished today, especially this strawberry bed. That is my kitchen window right there, and it's been driving me nuts since like December. All I have seen is dead strawberries. that entire time. So to get that accomplished especially feels really good, and I'm really happy to have gotten that whole like other side like planted out. The garden's really already coming together, and I can't believe we are only the last week of March. So I really hope you guys enjoyed spending the day out with the garden with me. I know I feel very accomplished. I also feel very dirty and need a shower. But with that being said, I'll see you guys all next week. Bye!